Wednesday, June 17th, and I am calling the regular Wake County Board of Education meeting to order. I would like to welcome those of you all who are participating in person and those of you all who are watching at home. The Wake County Board of Education meetings are conducted for the purpose of carrying out the official business of the school system. The public is always cordially invited to attend and to watch, to observe the board as it conducts its official meetings. Are we good? Okay. Any person who willfully interrupts, disrupts, or causes any disturbance at the official meeting may be directed to leave by the presiding officer. Members of the audience should show respect for speakers by refraining from loud comments or disruptions by any persons or persons. Any persons or persons of the public will be subject in ordinance with General Statute 143-318.17. We do have a quorum. Board Member Hegarty is traveling for work, and I believe Dr. Ng should be joining us in the virtual space. Once he joins, Ms. Allen, I'll make sure that is announced so you can reflect that in the minutes. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a quorum. If you all will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Allen, if you give me 1 second, Dr. Ng is trying. He's in? Okay, perfect. All right. So, we'll proceed with the approval of the meeting agenda. Board members, please note that there is a revised précis that has been added to the consent agenda under item 5, communication-C, the NAS recruitment innovation contract. The contract should be $356,000, not $396,000, as listed in the item on Assembly. Staff has provided a revised précis that is attached in Assembly to indicate the correct amount of $356,000. The contract, as attached and listed, has the correct amount. So is there a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda?
Motion to. Chair Swanson, motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
So motion by Vice Chair Hershey. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Edmonds. Due to Dr. Ng being remote, we will do a roll call vote. Dr. Ng, I will start with you.
Aye.
Ms. Caulfield?
Aye.
Ms. Gordon?
Aye.
Dr. Jobe?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonds?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey?
Aye.
The chair also votes aye. The meeting agenda has been approved. All right, we will now move to the public comments. Students will be heard first, which we have none because they should all hopefully be enjoying their summer break, followed by folks who are commenting on other items on tonight's agenda. We ask that only one person speaks at the podium at a time. All attendees that are not speaking are to remain seated. Concerns related to personnel issues or student matters may be addressed through our applicable WCPSS personnel, the grievance policies, or any other applicable policies. The board welcomes all viewpoints, including criticisms directed at substantive ideas, actions, or procedures. However, the board public comment policy also requires that order and decorum be maintained. In the interest of maintaining order and decorum, speakers are encouraged to address their comments to the Board of Education and refrain from personal attacks, insults directed at board members, individual board members, staff, or members of the general public. All commenters are asked to remember that children are often attending these meetings or watching these meetings, and to keep your comments both substantive and civil. Please remain at the podium during your public comment time. Any materials that you wish to share with the board, you can place on the table behind our board attorney, and we will ensure that staff collects those items. During the public comment, you may speak up to 3 minutes. Please note that the microphones are adjustable. And when you begin, you will see a green light, and a green light will illuminate as well as an audible tone, indicating that your 3 minutes have begun. A yellow light will light up with an audible tone, indicating when there are 30 seconds remaining in your time. And finally, you will see a red light and hear another audible tone, which indicates your time has expired. And we will move to the next person. We'll start with public comments. We have Ms. Jeanette Hill. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Taylor, Chair Swanson, distinguished board members. My name is Jeanette Hill, and I am an assistant principal at Apex High School. I am also a School Meals for All North Carolina champion. Our nonprofit believes that all children in North Carolina should have access to school meals at no cost to them or their families. However, I am here once again to talk about school meal prices increases and not free school meals for all. It is well known that school meals are often more nutritious than meals students bring from home, but what might not be as well known is that school meal participation increases student achievement and attendance and decreases student discipline incidents. I encourage you to value the power of school meals. I understand that budgets are tight and that employee, food, and delivery costs have risen, but another cost increase is going to price even more families out of school meal participation. Many families in our district make too much to qualify for free meals, but too little to be able to afford another price increase. As WRAL has reported, our district school meal participation rate is approximately half that of the national average. Another meal price increase is set to shrink our participation rate even further. If you decide to increase school meal prices tonight, I ask that you do so with an asterisk. The asterisk being that you create a task force to look at ways our district can cut costs and feed more students. I am volunteering to be on this task force because we should be able to come up with other solutions to this budget problem that do not continue to strain our families. I look forward to working on ways we can increase school meal participation and stop increasing school meal prices. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next speaker is Crystal Parker.
Good evening, Dr. Taylor and members of the school board. My name is Crystal Parker, and I come before you already knowing that this may not be the appropriate venue for my concerns. However, I have no other choice but to present myself here because I've received no response from the contact information listed in the Wake County Schools website. And as an aside, even the information on the Wake County Schools website concerning signing up to speak at school board meetings is outdated, as the front desk security guard stated that no one has been able to sign up in person to comment at school board meetings since COVID, but the website still says that you can. My main question is about the early kindergarten entry process, and my concern is about parents' ability to access proper information through the county schools website. I currently have a specific question about the EKE process, and up until January of this year, had previous productive communication with the assistant answering the phone at the published number for EKE on the Wake County Schools website. I've recently called, I've emailed, and there's absolutely no response, and there is no voicemail. That same security guard at the front desk stated the internal directory says vacant for the number still publicly listed. That's frustrating and insufficient to me as a parent seeking information. I've had to resort to coming here tonight, and hopefully that will lead me to an answer. Without going into too many specifics, I am fully aware of all aspects of the EKE process. I know it's supposed to be done at the base school. But what does a parent do if the base school presents a significant barrier and hardship to the family? My child's base school does not have before and after school care. I have a younger child in daycare in Johnston County due to the well-known child care shortage. For logistics purposes, there is a school closer to my job that I can provide transportation for my 4-year-old child. However, this school is a magnet school. Here lies the problem. There is no intersection of the magnet and EKE process. My simple question was this: is the school board the only entity that can approve a child going to a specific school even though it's not their base school in the EKE process? This question was posed to several of your top administrators in several departments across in-person interaction, phone calls, and emails. No one can answer this question because many were unfamiliar with the EKE process itself. And an appeals process wouldn't even really apply to this situation because the application process for EKE doesn't start until next month. So I'm hoping to get an answer, some guidance, and shed some light on what others may be going through. Thank you.
Ms. Parker, before you depart or have a seat,
Yes.
Ms. Allred is going to meet with you to get this issue resolved.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker is Ms. Becky Lou Hobbs.
Hello, I'm Becky Lou Hobbs, Chapter Chair of Moms for Liberty in Wake County. I really appreciate you guys starting the important process of establishing clear expectations and guidelines with the use of artificial intelligence in our classrooms. I really do appreciate that. The policies discussed today do many things well. They recognize the risks of AI, they preserve the autonomy of teachers, they support learning and critical thinking, and emphasize responsible and ethical use of AI. It's a really good foundation. But it is just the beginning, because there are gaps that need to be addressed if we want the policies to fully protect our students. For example, in the policies and the discussions, there were no detailed data retention or deletion rules. There was no auditing requirements to ensure compliance, and there was no opt-out process or consent requirements for families. So these new policies do seem to inform parents, but they do not empower parents. Their parents are still in the back seat when it comes to this. So overall, there's a solid framework with the policies. These policies have strong governance. They recognize the risks, ethics, and human oversight. And they're good intentions regarding student privacy, but they lack specific restrictions on what data can and cannot be entered and how that data is handled. Transparency to parents is very, very poor because parents have no meaningful visibility as to what is in classroom level AI use. And the accountability is weak because the district promises responsible use, but it really seems to rely on internal processes and there really wasn't any details to what was laid out. So I just have a few questions just to kind of get people thinking. What student information can and cannot be entered into any of these AI systems? Will any disciplinary information, behavioral, IEP? We've had some incidences recently, so it's a high concern. Who owns that data? The parent, the district, the vendor? That gets back to deletion processes. How long is that data retained? I didn't see anything regarding that. Will there be a clear deletion and destruction policy? And will you publish a list of the AI tools on your website? I did hear that discussed today, so that sounds like that's in your thought process. We do share the same goals. We want to protect our children with provide a high-quality education, but ensure that there are proper guardrails in place. I will follow up this with some notes regarding the policies that I saw, just for my thoughts, so you can integrate it into your discussion in the upcoming policy meetings that come up. But I really do appreciate you starting this process. Thank you.
All right, our final speaker, Isabel Hyman. Excuse me for the mispronunciation.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and Superintendent. My name is Isabel Heineman, and I'm a parent in Wake County District 8. First, thank you for broadcasting the AI policy session today. I want to be clear, this is not an anti-technology statement. Artificial intelligence is here, and our students should learn about it. My concern is not whether AI belongs in education. It is how, when, and under what safeguards we introduce it. Across education, there is a growing narrative that schools are behind and must rapidly adopt generative AI to catch up. I would challenge that assumption. The question should not be whether we can deploy AI quickly. The question should be whether we are doing so responsibly, ethically, and transparently. For students in middle school and high school, these years are critical for developing executive functioning skills. planning, organization, time management, critical thinking, persistence through frustration, and independent problem solving. These skills are not optional. They are foundational to success in college, careers, and life. When we provide a tool that can instantly generate answers, essays, research summaries, coding solutions, and creative content, we must ask ourselves, are we strengthening these skills or bypassing them? We don't hand a child a calculator before teaching computational skills, math literacy, and processes, and basic foundational theory. We understand that technology should enhance learning after foundational skills are established, not replace the process of learning itself. The same principle should apply to generative AI. Creativity is another concern. Students learn to write by writing, they learn to think by thinking, they learn to create by struggling through the creative process. If AI becomes the first stop rather than a support tool, we risk producing students who can generate polished outputs without developing the underlying skills those outputs are supposed to represent. There are also significant safety and ethical considerations. Students are still developing judgment, digital literacy, and an understanding of bias, misinformation, privacy, intellectual property, and accountability, something even adults in and out of tech struggle with. Generative AI systems can produce inaccurate information, reinforce bias, and create dependency on automated decision-making. These are not hypothetical concerns, they are documented realities. Given those risks, I have serious questions about governance and transparency. According to the implementation timeline, staff access was given in April of 2023, and student access followed 3 months later on July 1st of 2023. The AI task force developed guiding principles and a draft documentation in 24-25, which is more than a year after launch. In August of 2025, students were blocked from ChatGPT and moved to Gemini with open access to children ages 13 and older. Why was that rollout allowed before a comprehensive governance, risk, and compliance framework was publicly established? More importantly, are questions of transparency, which I'll skip because I'm out of time. But finally, why are we discussing an investment approaching $10 million while simultaneously reallocating resources from critical areas of education? Who made that recommendation? What alternatives were considered? And which elected officials voted in support of that allocation? If we, can I keep going?
That is your time, but you
Okay.
can follow up with an email with your
Okay.
full remarks, and we can be
Okay.
sure to
Thank
have
you.
those. Thank you. All right, so that concludes our public comment portion of our agenda. So at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent items. Vice Chair Hershey?
Chair Hagerty, motion to approve the consent agenda.
Swanson, but
What did I say?
Haggerty.
I'm sorry, it's
I'm
because
gonna
you did
blame
it to
on
me
the-
earlier.
I know, I'm blaming it on the 37 high school graduations, and that this is a Wednesday, not
You
a
did have me
Tuesday.
more. Chair Swanson, motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hershey. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Job. All right, we will do a roll call vote, starting with Dr. Job.
Aye.
Ms. Gordon?
Aye.
Ms. Caulfield?
Aye.
Dr. Ng?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonds?
Aye.
The chair also votes aye. Tonight's consent agenda item passes. So we will move to our first action item for tonight, which is the approval of an interim budget resolution for the 26-27 academic school year. And we will welcome Ms. Posey to the podium.
Well, good evening, Chair Swanson, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Taylor. The Wake County Board of Commissioners approved the county's 2026-27 budget at their meeting earlier this month on June 1st. The Board of Education's proposed budget requested an increase in county appropriation of $25.3 million. The final budget approved by the commissioners includes an increase to the school system of $25.3 million, currently leaving no funding gap to reconcile as it relates directly to the county appropriation. We have shared throughout the budget development process and in our May Budget Finance Committee that after receiving the final amount of the county appropriation for next year, we will still be waiting for the state legislature to finalize a budget for the 2026-27 fiscal year. It is possible that legislative decisions about the state budget will create a funding gap that we will need to reconcile. If the final state budget requires local funding amounts beyond what are now available, the board will need to make additional adjustments to the board's proposed budget to align with available revenues. This will all be done once final legislative decisions are made about next year's state budget. As this is your last scheduled board meeting prior to the new fiscal year, we are asking the board to adopt an interim budget resolution. The interim budget resolution will enable the system to continue paying salaries and covering routine operating expenses beginning July 1st. We will subsequently present recommended adjustments to the board to align the proposed budget with available funding for the 2026-27 year. At that time, we will provide recommended salary schedules for the 2026-27 fiscal year as part of the final adjustments to balance the board's budget. School districts in North Carolina are statutorily required to have a balanced budget resolution in place prior to the beginning of the fiscal year. Adopting an interim budget resolution will allow the board to meet the statutory requirement and continue to operate in the new fiscal year. An interim resolution also allows the board the opportunity to make final budget adjustment decisions once impact of the final state budget is determined. I now ask for your consideration of approval of an interim budget resolution for fiscal year 2026-2027. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Posey. Is there a motion to approve the interim budget resolution for 2026-2027?
Motion to approve the interim budget for the 2026-27 fiscal year.
Perfect. So there's a motion by Ms. Gordon. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Ms. Edmonds. Any comments, questions, or discussion? All right, hearing or seeing none. Almost did all. Dr. Ng, we'll start with you since it's a roll call vote.
Aye.
Ms. Caulfield?
Aye.
Ms. Gordon?
Aye.
Dr. Jobe?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonds?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so our second action items are coming from policies. So we will welcome Dr. Crane to the podium as we discuss Board Policy 1010, Board Authority and Duties for first reading.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're bringing to you tonight Policy 1010, Board Authority and Duties. It's a revised policy, and revisions were recommended by the North Carolina School Board Association and staff. The revised policy was discussed at the April 7th Board Work Session and the May 26th and June 17th Policy Committee meetings of this year. When given final board approval, it will replace the current version of the policy. We request your approval on first reading of this policy.
All right.
Chair
Board Member
Swanson,
Edmonds? Yes.
I would like to make a motion to waive second reading and adopt policy 1010.
All right. It's a motion on the floor by Board Member Edmonds to waive second reading of Board Policy 1010. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Ms. Gordon. Any discussion? Board Member Edmonds? Yes, Board Member Edmonds.
Thank you. Very briefly, just the purpose of my requesting the waiver of second reading is because today did mark the third time that we've reviewed these and discussed these. It was discussed at our work session on April 7th and again at the Policy Committee meeting on May 26th.
All right. All right. We will, sorry, my brain is like asleep. Dr. Ng, we'll start with you for the roll call vote.
Aye.
Board Member Caulfield?
Aye.
Board Member Gordon?
Aye.
Dr. Jobe?
Aye.
Board Member Edmonds? It's an aye. Vice
Aye.
Chair? It's an aye. The chair also votes an aye. The policy passes. All right. Board Policy 2120, Code of Ethics Responsibility for School Board Members.
We're bringing you this policy tonight, revised. The revisions were recommended by staff. The revised policy was discussed at the April 7, 2026 Board Work Session and the May 26th and today, June 17th, policy committee meetings. When given final board approval, it will replace the same policy, or the current version of the same policy. We're bringing to you two changes that were recommended today. They are, for today's reading, on page 2 and numbered item 10. The end of the sentence will read, "and again during every calendar year of the term served." And in the paragraph of new language that is highlighted in yellow, the end of that paragraph will read, "or other qualified sources as determined by the board chair or the board." And we will strike at the choice of the board. With those two additions, we request your approval on first reading.
Board Member Edmonds?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I move that we waive second reading and adopt policy 2120.
All right. There's a motion on the table to adopt policy 2120 and waive second reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Board Member Caulfield. Any discussion, comments, questions, or concerns? Board Member Edmonds.
The same reasoning with the waiver of second reading. Dr. Crane stated this was the third discussion today. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, we'll do a roll call vote, and I'll start with Board Member Edmonds.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey.
Aye.
Dr. Ing.
Aye.
Board Member Caulfield.
Aye.
Board Member Gordon.
Aye.
Dr. Joe.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The policies pass unanimously. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Crane. All right. And we will now just welcome Ms. Lawrence to the podium to present the meal prices for the 26-27 academic school year.
Good evening, board members, chair, Superintendent Taylor. I appreciate you having me here today. I wanted to talk about the meal price increase proposal that we talked about in the last work session. I just want to first provide just a brief overview of what we talked about the last meeting. The meal price increase supports a strategic plan, which is Priority 3, AIM 20, which is basically
Ms. Lawrence, did you have a presentation or?
Oh, well, I'm just reading
gotcha,
through.
gotcha. I was making sure because it wasn't on the.
No, I just was reading through the highlights from the previous.
Sorry.
And so, supporting the financial stability, sustainability of the district, maintaining high-quality services. By adjusting prices, it ensures the district can continue to provide consistent, high-quality meal service without reducing program effectiveness, and protecting the district's resources while maintaining equity. Limiting reliance on the district subsidies allows the funds to be used elsewhere, while free and reduced meal programs ensure equitable student access despite price changes. Some of the things that currently the school nutrition program operate, we have a fund balance, which is basically, like I explained before, like our emergency fund. We have about a month, a little bit over a month's worth of fund balance. Pre-COVID, some things that are impacting the reason for meal price increase is that pre-COVID, labor costs have increased over time. Pre-COVID, we had hourly wages for our staff of $11.58. Now we're at $17.75, and that's without the proposed raises that we're considering for this coming school year. That's over a 50% increase in the wages for our staff. The meal price increases in the sense of providing the food on the plate. A chicken sandwich, or the chicken itself, has almost doubled in price. The price of pepperoni pizza has increased. We've also continued to have a reimbursement gap. Currently, we receive $4.69 for every child that we feed that's a free student. Our meal prices are beneath that, so the goal is always to get to a meal price that mirrors the reimbursement rate of the $4.69. We also have goals to increase our revenue in our program. And so when we do that, I'm also in the process of trying to increase the amount of schools that we have on our CEP program where they will get free breakfast and lunch. And so in order to offset some of the costs, but that's not going to cover everything. The 25 cents that we are asking for doesn't cover even the raise that's proposed for this school year. And so our goal is to ask for the board to raise prices 25 cents at all grade levels to help increase, to cover the cost of increasing costs it costs to operate the school nutrition program. And that's it. So I would like the board to consider raising prices 25 cents at each grade level.
Is there a motion to, approve the meal prices for the 26-27 school year? Vice Chair
Thanks,
Hershey.
sir. Have a question.
Motion to approve the meal price increases.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Board Member Edmonds. Yes, for some reason, I just want to keep saying Evans, but Edmonds, yes, Board Member Edmonds.
I would turn my name tag toward you, but it doesn't move. No, it's no problem. I just want to, none of us want to do this at all. I am so grateful for the speaker this evening. From the board table, we don't typically respond directly to people that bring public comment, so I'll keep it general. I'm so grateful that someone was here from School Meals for All. I'm familiar with their work. They do great work. We should have universal free school meals across the country, not just North Carolina. All the points that the speaker raised, I agree with emphatically, and I love the idea of a task force because I suspect you will be back in 11, 12 months asking us to do the same thing again. And it is a fact that prices have gone up, whether it's wages or the cost of delivery and the cost of the products. But none of us are happy or want to do this to families, and it is very concerning that we're in this position. That's not about you or your department. Y'all are doing the best that you can with the resources that you have. So I hope I'm articulating that well on behalf of all the board. I feel like we're all on the same page. But thank you, Chair.
Board Member Gordon?
Thank you. I just want to say that I share in what Ms. Board Member Edmonds has said. I do not want to increase these prices. But I also understand how we got here, though I don't agree with how we got here. But I also want to commend Ms. Lawrence and your team on your efforts. I was just, earlier today, I was on social media looking at you all's, I think it was the
training
culinary
yesterday.
training.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is notable to add that the public should know you and the CNS team are really making strides in trying to improve what we have, down to, communications, down to the level and the product and the flavor of the foods that we are providing for our students. So I don't want that to get lost as well, but I agree, none of us want to do this. And I fully support the idea of a task force, absolutely, because that was one of my concerns is we are here again this year, and although your team is working hard to do things differently, we need to figure out a different way of trying to make sure and safeguard our families so that they are not having to pay more. Thank you.
Vice Chair Hershey and then Board Member Caulfield.
So if it's okay, I'm just going to take a minute to touch on a few items as it relates to this. As a board, we don't have taxing authority. So we are relying on the federal government, the state government, and Wake County government. Wake County government already funds a bunch of things for us that should be done by the state. The state, and I'm really going to get to the federal government because this should be on the federal government, but the state makes choices to send money elsewhere, both to private schools, and they also make choices to reduce the amount of, to reduce taxes, which reduces the amount of money they have to spend. And those are intentional choices. It would not cost very much money for the state government to ensure every kid gets a meal for free every day they're in school, and it should be the case. But I actually don't think it should necessarily be on the state. It should be on the federal government as they do the reimbursement. And I will just say that the federal government, this is not the first administration that hasn't taken this up. This goes back a ways. But as an example, we just spent about $50 to $100 billion on a war that caused, I don't know anything positive out of it, for certainly for the American people, let alone people in other countries. $50 to $100 billion. We've all paid more for everything over that time frame. It would not cost that much to feed every child every year. These are choices that our governments are making. It is a reflection of their values that they do not fund this, and specifically the federal government. I can tell you that if we had taxing authority, I would vote to raise taxes to fund this, because I believe that students should not have to pay for their food when they are mandated to go to school. This is the fourth year that those of us elected a few years ago have had to do this, fourth year in a row. It is painful every time. But the last point I want to make is that this board and previous boards have done the right thing in increasing what we pay employees. And so that is also a driving factor here. We could cut costs and cut their pay and then not have anyone there, and then they would be needing government assistance and that sort of thing. But we've done the right thing in raising our employee rates, what we pay, and we're still behind, and we're falling behind because of inflation and all of that. So there's a lot that goes into this, and it shouldn't even be at our table right now. Thank you.
Board Member Caulfield.
Thank you. I appreciate all of the work that you do and the comments that we had today. 100% stand behind a task force, so I do hope that the board and staff would actually bring that to fruition, because in the past, I know that we've talked about the struggles that we have here, and nobody does want to change, you know, the prices for our families. And I do appreciate you recognizing that there are families that don't make enough to qualify for the free and reduced lunch, but then they don't really make enough to be able to afford it too. So those are the most vulnerable families that kind of fall in that space where they get, you know, affected the most by it. But doing the math, that's about 50 cents a day. It comes out to be, on an average, about $10.83 more a month, if I'm doing my math correctly. I know our costs are going crazy. You mentioned the chicken was, like, the cost of that is doubling. For me, I think I struggle saying yes to making families do that. But I think it's very important for our children to have quality food, not just food. And I know I've expressed that many times while we were having these conversations. Good food, good protein is really what our children need when they are trying to be in school, trying to behave, trying to sit down. If they don't have that proper nourishment, they can't function well. So I really struggle to say no to an increase when I know how important that food is to those children and to have that quality food. But I do believe that having a task force is something that is going to be probably one of the closest things we could have to a solution in addressing this problem. I did bring up Rise Charter School that Mr. Haggerty had come to with me. We went with our old board member, Roxy Cash, and we met with a chef who, he was a professional chef, and at the time, the meal that we did have would have cost $6, but the whole intention behind his program is to cut the waste, partner up with people so that we could have healthier food and cook as we go. And I think things like this could be discussed in a task force. So I'm just going to keep pushing that one because I think it is really good for us to address that the waste provides more in our pockets and more for our children on their plate. So it is going to be a struggle for me to say yes, but I do understand financially why we need it, and the cost of everything goes up, and that just happens for everybody. So I just wanted to recognize that we do hear you, and we do appreciate your comments and what you put out there, and I know how much this affects our family, but I think it is more important for us to have this quality food and the right foods for our children. But please, 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 can we make that task force happen? Thank you.
Dr. Ng, did you have any remarks?
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Lawrence, for being bold in the ask. I know that's always been a difficult ask, and it's a difficult decision for us to make. And I do agree with everybody else about having a task force. If it impacts the community, I think the community should be part of that solution too. And so I welcome the community to participate in coming up with some solutions. And also, we have to live in the here and now, and we have to deal with the inflation and the increase in prices and increase in labor costs. And if this provides a little bit of a relief, I will vote yes on it. But moving forward, we do need to come up with some solid game plan on how to prevent us from continuing to go up and up and up on the prices, because I think many of our families are not going to be able to afford it. And also, people who, if we're going to try to attract more of our students to eat at school lunches instead of bringing their own lunch, we need to make it appealing and make it, tasty, and also make it affordable. So I thank you so much for your leadership.
Dr. Jobe, did you have any remarks? All right. I just want to, I agree with the sentiments of my colleagues, and, I know every time we have made these decisions, there was something that, the community has always stepped in and support. The last time we increased the meal lunch, we had the Angel Fund to help offset with families, and so I whispered to the superintendent and to the vice chair to amend the motion so we can include the establishment of a task force, so we can figure out how we can do something with this, and legislation, because we also know that a lot of the gaps is legislation. I know some of us at the board met with it was a couple of years ago, with the former assistant secretary of agriculture to figure out at the federal level what could we do to ensure we can get farmers. We have agriculture here in the state. How do we get some legislation to have farm to table that helps our students? And the roadblock to that was federal legislation as well as state legislation. And so I look forward to this task force so we can figure out how we can come up with some solutions. But I also know that this is an enterprise, which is a separate business. I remember first joining the board, Mr. Nieder would remind us of the enterprise and how this is, it cannot go into the red. And if it goes into the red, we do not receive whatever funding or business opportunities that we will receive from that. So could you go a little bit more details or clean up whatever I was trying to share with the enterprise? And forgive me, it's the lack of sleep. That's why I'm not functioning as sharply as I normally do.
Yeah, so it's not, if we go into the red, it becomes now a board issue. And so you would have to reallocate dollars from the general budget to cover the gap. And so the goal is to try not to impact the overall district budget as minimal as we can, so that way we can manage the school nutrition program appropriately, and that you can use dollars toward instructional and other things that are priorities for the board.
And currently, do you know, well, I'm sure we are in the red, but could you give an estimate of how much in debt this program?
So right now, we are not in the red.
Well,
So
let me take that back. Sorry, I misspoke.
yeah, so right now, we actually have about a little bit over a month worth of operating budget, like if we were to go into the negative that we would draw from. But what will happen, like for instance, if we implement the raises, we won't have the revenue to cover the gap. And so, and even with the 25 cent, like I mentioned before, there's a possibility that it definitely won't cover the raises unless revenue changes. And so the ideal situation is that revenue increases, which means meal participation increases.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll add to that because I know what you're asking is to help people understand the enterprise fund. And so right now, it is about a little over a month of operating costs. The red to which you are referring is unpaid lunch balances, which is probably around $250,000.
Yeah, almost $300,000,
Yeah,
which was the estimate from kind of when we came in maybe September-ish,
correct.
that we were worried about increasing as we do the Angel Fund and no alternative meal.
Right. And so those will be things that we will also have to pay either as a district or child nutrition program, however you want to put it. But it is about a little over a month's operating cost. Also, so that the public will know, anytime that they have, I think it's 3 months of operating costs, could be 2 months, 2 or 3.
Over 2 months.
Over 2 months. Then a district can charge indirect costs, and that is something that we charge all programs because they don't have that operating fund, and that's about $4 million that the district does not get. And I will say that I didn't curry a lot of favor with other superintendents, but there used to be no ceiling on that. But we worked to cap that at 8% so that programs could be profitable and not be a cash cow. But as we all recognize, the increasing cost is really what puts everybody at a disadvantage and causes us to have to do things that we don't want to do. And so I was going to speak to this in my comments, but I'll just say it now that this is the difficult work that the board is doing, and you do recognize that these are painful things that have to take place. And so I know there's going to be an amendment to the motion to have a task force, but I will let you know that regardless of what that amendment is, that we will have that first task force meeting in September, and Ms. Jeanette Hill has already committed to be a member of that task force, so we look forward to you being a part of that and helping us resolve some of these issues.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. And I think as we move forward with the task force, ensuring that we also have student voices at every level, middle, elementary, and high school, to give voice to this, as well as parents, and ensuring that, we are a large district and we can't have all 200-plus schools, but we could have representation regionally, because what may happen out west or out east, it's completely different. So just ensuring that the makeup of this task force reflects the district population, both, yeah. So Vice Chair, I'll turn to you to amend your motion. Or that was your motion that you made, correct? Okay.
Since it was seconded,
I'll get to Ms. Evans to see if she'll still second the motion.
so I can just amend it for proper order?
I technically think you should make a motion to amend your motion.
That's what I figured.
And then have it seconded, and let's just follow Roberts a little closer, maybe easier.
I mean, I was following it. It was just my loose interpretation of Roberts, but I understand.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to ask me,
I
wouldn't have said anything if you had just done it.
Well, I
ask
want to step
That's why I
on
didn't
toes.
look in that direction, because I knew it was going to be a little bit more tighter.
I know in the past snowballs. So I make a motion to amend my motion so we can add the creation of a task force to it.
All right. So there's the amended motion, Ms. Allen, it's still to increase the prices and to add the creation of the task force. And Ms. Board Member Edmonds, are you still going to be in favor of seconding that?
I second.
Perfect. I think that's all the discussion we've had on it, and I just want to thank AP Hill for pushing us and to advocating it for all that has came and advocated for this. And so I hope that we can, come up with some tangible solutions. Dr. Ng, I'll start with you with the roll call vote.
Aye.
Board Member Caulfield.
Aye.
Board Member Gordon.
Aye.
Dr. Joe.
Aye.
Board Member Edmonds.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey.
Aye.
The chair also votes aye. The motion passes unanimously, and we look forward to that September task force meeting, that task force. So, I was supposed to, then I need, so that, Rod, blame it on, blame it on the 30-some ceremonies, my lack of sleep. But I think that will be a sufficient motion. Is that fine, Ms.? So, okay, let me do it the correct way.
No, you're correct. Now you just need to approve the amended motion.
Yes,
Okay.
so we'll do the same order. We're going to take that ginger ale from you, so therefore you're not as alert, and let us slide and do a little couple of things. So we'll go in the same order. Board Member Edmonds.
I move to approve the amended motion.
It's just, we got to vote. It's the roll
I'm
call
so
vote.
sorry. Aye. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Board Member Caulfield.
Aye.
Dr. Ng.
Aye.
Board Member Gordon.
Aye.
Dr. Joe.
Aye.
All right, so it passes, both passes unanimously. Thank you, Attorney Malone, for ensuring that we are following things. Did I get to you, Vice Chair? Did I call you? Oh, sorry. All right, so that's all, we're good and dandy, so now we'll turn to board member comments, starting with the superintendent, and proceed with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I first want to start out, and I know I made comments last month, or last meeting, about graduations, but I do want to say to our public that this is the one part of our work that is a culmination of everything that we do as a school system, is to see those students matriculate across the stage. And we're talking about 36 graduations, 12,475 graduates in that range. And I was going to tease the chair that when he said stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I was getting ready for students to start walking across the stage. So we've dealt with a lot the last several days, but I do want to thank all of the board members that have participated in the board in the graduations and how very important that is. At the same time, I do want to offer somewhat of an apology to the parents at Sanderson High School, because there was a slight glitch where we did not have enough of the program covers, and so some of the students may not have received that. And so we do want to apologize for that and recognize that these are solemn ceremonies that only happen once a year, or one time for a family, and we do recognize how important those are. But we are just extremely grateful for all of those that showed up and participated in the meetings. I also want to thank the board for the tremendous work that you do on AI and making sure that we as a district do what is right for our students. I certainly appreciate the input and feedback that we've had from our parents and our students. Particularly, I want to thank Ms. Becky Lou Hobbs. She and I had an opportunity to meet, and she shared her thoughts, and those were certainly in line with where we are as a board, and we'll continue to make sure we get feedback from all those that are willing to give it. And again, thanking the board for the work on child nutrition and knowing how difficult that is, but I will make sure that we reach out to No Kid Hungry and my friend Luann Crumple and Helen Roberts to help us with the task force so we can do this work. I also want to share a story of why I'm reminded of why I love my job. And recently, students in Mrs. Kernan Hibbert's first grade class at Northwoods Elementary sent me a series of handwritten letters as part of an assignment about persuasive writing. Their goal was to convince me to reverse the district's policy and allow students in grades K through 2 to take their Chromebooks home. One student wrote, "First grade is not allowed to take home their Chromebook, but I think they should because I would work all day and all night and come back as a grown-up to thank you. Hope you say yes." And I have to admit that's a pretty compelling argument, and I was especially impressed that these students were already learning how to support their opinions with reasons and evidence. And so we want our youngest students to develop healthy technology habits, spend plenty of time learning and playing away from screens, and gradually build their digital skills as they move through elementary school. And so our current policy is also aligned with state guidance and helps ensure that technology is used in age-appropriate and purposeful ways, both at school and at home. And even though I couldn't give them the answer that they wanted, I was grateful that they took the time to write. The letters show curiosity, creativity, and a genuine understanding of why technology can be an important learning tool. I also want to commend Mrs. Hibbert for helping her students find their voices and use them in a positive and productive way. To those students in Northwoods, thank you for writing. Keep asking good questions, keep sharing your ideas, and keep using your voices for good. I do believe we're going to see some of those students sitting as board members here in many years from now. I'll be an old man, but I'll be looking. Next, I'd like to congratulate several members of our transportation department for an outstanding performance at this year's North Carolina School Bus Driving Competition, commonly known as the School Bus Rodeo. How many of you are familiar with the rodeo? Okay, good. This annual competition brings together some of the best school bus drivers from across the state and tests both their knowledge of school transportation laws and their ability to navigate a series of demanding precision driving challenges. I'm proud to share that Jorge Rosado earned first place statewide, with Clay Fogelman finished second, an extraordinary accomplishment that reflects both skill and professionalism. Mr. Rosado, who serves schools in our Holly Springs Transportation District, qualified for the international competition through his first place finish. And because of a prior commitment, he will not be able to attend. Mr. Fogelman, who serves the Millbrook Transportation District, will represent North Carolina at the School Bus Driver International Safety Competition later this month in Austin, Texas. And I also want to recognize 3 more Wake County drivers, Monica Hauser, Rodney Street, and Matthew Monk, who also qualified for this year's state competition. Every school day, our transportation employees safely transport tens of thousands of students to and from school. Their work requires patience, judgment, attention to detail, and a commitment to student safety. So again, congratulations to these outstanding drivers, and my thanks to all of our transportation professionals for the important work they do every day on behalf of our students and families. I'd also like to congratulate Mitzi Spencer of Green Magnet Elementary School, who has been named the 2026 Wake County Public School System Math Teacher of the Year. Ms. Spencer teaches 5th grade and is completing her 3rd year at Green Magnet Elementary. She joined our district as an international teacher from Jamaica through Participate Learning. Principal Leslie Blake describes Ms. Spencer as a teacher who makes challenging mathematical concepts engaging and accessible for all students while maintaining high expectations for learners. Through strong relationships, thoughtful questioning, and real-world connections, she helps students build both math skills and confidence in themselves as learners. This recognition reflects the outstanding work taking place in Ms. Spencer's classroom across our entire district every day. So again, congratulations to Ms. Spencer, and I'm grateful for your dedication to students and proud to have you representing our district. Lastly, I want to share a fun story that is also a testament to what can happen when students, educators, and families work together towards a common goal. For the past 13 years, Leesville Road Elementary Principal Ari Cohen has made a promise to students. If the school reached an ambitious benchmark on its end-of-year assessments, he would shave off the beard he has worn for decades. And the board chair would also, I'm joking to say that, So this year's students met that challenge. Kindergarten through second grade students achieved a remarkable 92.6% proficiency rate on their M-Class assessments, while students in grades 3 through 5 earned an 85.6% proficiency rate on end-of-grade tests. And those are preliminary results, by the way. Those results represent outstanding academic achievement and reflect the hard work of students, teachers, staff, and families throughout the school community. True to his word, Mr. Corden recently parted ways with the beard he had worn for 37 years. We captured the moment on video, and I thought it would be a fitting way to close today's remarks. So let's see.
Shaving off my beard and mustache for the first time in 3.5 decades. We are doing so because every year since I started here 13 years ago, I've put a challenge out to my school community to achieve at a certain percentage, which set the bar higher than we had ever achieved before, believing fully that it would never happen and I'd be able to keep my beard forever. And this year, they accomplished it. All of our students, all of our staff, they did an amazing job. I've been in education for 31 years, and I worked in schools in multiple states, multiple countries, and I've never had the opportunity to work with a staff as amazing and dedicated, fully committed as the group here at Leesville. They're instructional leaders, they're family, they support one another. It has just been a real gift being able to be here, be a part of this community, and be able to support the amazing work that's being done. Feeling nauseous, you kidding me? I have no idea what's under here. I don't know what's going on under this thing. I was 19, I was in great shape when I started growing this. I had a chiseled jawline, I had one chin. I don't know how many chins are under here. Who knows?
The faculty, the staff, everybody, it's just, they made all of this happen, and all I had to do was humiliate myself for a little bit. Pride starts at Leesville.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. I think Area Superintendent Williams would be the next one to do it. Just teasing, I'm just teasing. We'll start with Dr. Ng in the virtual space.
Thank you so much. I wish I could have seen that video. I want to congratulate all of the 2026 graduates. I had a great time seeing the students walk across the stage and feeling their excitement as they face their future. The truth is, no one is truly prepared for the future. But I am honored that we have been able to partner with parents in the process of preparing their children for the next step in their life journeys. I had the privilege of attending the graduation ceremony for Project Search. This is a wonderful program that WCPSS participates in collaboration with the Embassy Suites in Cary. This one-year internship is a wonderful way for young people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to be fully immersed in working at the hotel in a meaningful way. They're able to gain self-confidence as they get hands-on training and learn marketable job skills. They're also able to explore careers and get connected to local employment opportunities. So as of the graduation ceremony, out of the graduating class, 2 of the graduates had already secured jobs after their graduation. But really, it's not just about getting a job. It gives them hope, it gives me hope that our world will be able to see that individuals with IDD can be productive members of society and that they themselves can find meaning and purpose. The ultimate goal is that people with IDD are given the means and the opportunities to break through the barriers for independence and self-determination. I want to thank the staff at Project Surge and Embassy Suites for making this possible. Even though I couldn't attend the policy meeting earlier today, I was able to listen in on the discussion regarding the AI policy. It is really the wild, wild west in many ways, and we have to be judicious in how we proceed in implementing the use of AI and how we teach our students the use of AI. I am glad that the policy now shows that we have a healthy caution regarding AI. We need to keep this tool as just that, a tool. It is not a replacement for learning the foundations, and we cannot let AI make decisions for us. I appreciate the input by the public comment speakers tonight, and I am looking forward to getting more feedback about what the AI policy should look like. And in future BAC meetings, I would like to incorporate that into one of our meetings. So thank you so much for letting me speak.
All right, thank you, Dr. E. Board Member Caulfield.
Thank you. I think our principal at Leesville is pretty brave, so it shows some true dedication to be able to do something like that. I wanted to congratulate the class of 2026. It was a pleasure to join the graduation ceremonies, and probably the best part of this job is to have the honor of being on stage and seeing all of those smiling faces cross the stage as a senior and then leave that stage as a graduate, now moving on to their adult life. And it looks different for so many. The timing is different, the places are different, the jobs are different, and the goals are different. But each one of those stories are so very important to each and every one of our seniors. Remember each and every day that you get to write your own story. If it doesn't go exactly how you expected, it's okay. It doesn't for most of us. So keep writing it. So a huge congratulations and the best of luck in whatever your future brings. We heard some of the best speeches, the most inspiring and thoughtful speeches from some of our seniors, and some of them thanked their teachers, their staff, their parents, and God for helping them along the path with all the tools they needed to get to that stage and being there in all the bends in the road along the way. What a true blessing. Another thing I heard mentioned a few times was that this was the first class that was not affected by COVID. And it gave me great pause. I thought about it quite a few times. And I understood what was being said, but I have to share another perspective. All of our classes were affected by the closure and COVID from kindergarten to high school. So while it may have hit in a different way for our high school students in the past 4 or 5 years, I will quote our prior state superintendent and the studies that reflect if a child is deficient in reading, even in first grade, it can follow them through into their adulthood. These children all face challenges, struggles, and not only in their academics, but vital social skills and relationships. I think all of these children deserve the recognition for the hurdles that they've had to bear and the struggles and challenges that they've had to face and overcome. And I also wanted to recognize the families and our teachers and staff who have jumped through hoops to try and make this, what was abnormal situation, to be as normal as possible. I think recognizing that adds value to the work that has been done and continues to be done, and for all those seniors that graduated this year and even those in the years that will follow. They did overcome challenges and they came very far, and I do think that they were affected, and I wanted to recognize their success, that resilience that our students show, and the strength that it took for some of them to overcome those obstacles. Thank you to our teachers and those students and families. They should be extra proud as they walked across that stage. Maybe it's just the mama bear in me that recognizes that, but I felt it was important to say it and to acknowledge it. I'm proud of our teachers who went the extra mile, to our families who worked so hard and advocated for their children, and to all the students that are doing the hard work. So again, well done to the class of 2026.
Gordon.
Thank you. Good evening. As we close another successful school year, I want to begin by, of course, congratulating the class of 2026. It was an honor to attend several graduation ceremonies across our district and celebrate this important milestone with students, families, educators, and our community. As a board member, those moments are always special. But this year, I received an extra special blessing. I had the privilege of handing my own graduate his diploma. In a world that often feels uncertain and turbulent, our graduates carry exactly what we need more of: hope, joy, courage, creativity, and brilliance. I'm confident that they will make meaningful contributions to their communities and to the world. But I want us to always remember, growth looks different for every learner. For some, it is mastering a new skill, overcoming a challenge, building confidence, finding their voice, developing friendships, or simply showing up each day and continuing to move forward. As we celebrate the end of the school year, I hope our students always remember this: a test score can never define your worth, your potential, or your brilliance. What defines you is how you treat others, how you respond to challenges, how you continue learning, and how you use your gifts to make a difference. Thank you to our educators, staff, families, and community who support our students' growth every day. Congratulations to the class of 2026 and to all of our students on a year of learning, growth, and achievement. And although I know we have some like track 4 people who are still in school right now, I wish you a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Dr. Joe?
Board Member Gordon and I were on the same page here. I want to congratulate all of the graduates. I was really honored to see all of you walk the stage. I want to congratulate all of the thousands of kids who got through their EOGs and EOCs, and wish luck to those who are still taking them this week and next. I know there's a real push to pass those tests, and it's completely understandable with how strongly our school grades are tied to those scores. But I want to remind every parent and kid out there, our children are more than their test scores. The scores only show how well a kid can answer questions about that particular subject on that particular day. Those EOG scores don't show how creative you are, or how you mastered a one-handed cartwheel, or how you're kind to everyone at recess, or how you were named Employee of the Month at your job, or how you make the tallest sofa pillow forts of any of your friends. So keep that in mind as you wrap up the year. I'm so glad about the discussion and the direction it's taking about the pending AI policy, and thank you to all the community members who have sent in their input. I used a lot of it in talking about what I'd like to see in the policy in the future. The technology is here to stay. It's incredibly important that we provide guardrails for student safety and educational well-being, and I encourage everyone to read the draft policy and keep providing feedback. Happy summer to everyone, and hopefully you're going to enjoy the next several weeks.
Board Member Edmonds?
Thank you. Just two things this evening, because I also talked about graduations last meeting. But what I didn't say about the graduations is how incredibly impressed I am with staff, even those that I don't see behind the scenes, that make those events happen, especially the ones at the convention center and Memorial Auditorium. I mean, that's what I still call it. I can only imagine the orchestration and organization and time commitments that go in to set all that up. And I know there's very early morning arrivals with many of our ceremonies starting at 8 a.m. and very late nights, especially, the first day and then the last night, which was last night. So just a shout out to all the staff that's involved, the security staff and those that organize those ceremonies. And then the last item I have is just to reiterate for the public that we are moving through this AI policy to be very thoughtful and responsive to the pending legislation. And we will be bringing these to our BAC meetings in the fall, and to get input from our principals and school staff and parents. And we will do what we need to do to get input from students. So I appreciate everyone's work. and the time that you're spending on helping us develop this policy. Thank you.
Vice Chair Hershey?
Thank you. To piggyback on Ms. Edmonds, I want to, I'll say first, congratulations to all the graduates, and I really want to do a shout out to the Office of Translation and Interpretation Services. They do tremendous work for us. They were there at all the graduation sites, making graduation accessible to everybody. A big thank you to them. Thank you to the staff who took care of board members and other elected officials. We really appreciate the work you did. Thank you to the security team and every staff member of every school who participated and was taking tickets and guiding parents. Also want to give a shout out to all the junior ushers who attended. You guys did a great job. Shout out to all the band members and choir members. Well done. The renditions of everything was they were all fantastic. I think it was East Wake that did that anthem with both the choir and the band at the same time, and you could see the band and choir director looking at each other, and it was really exceptional work. So I do want to give a shout out to the choir directors and the band directors. Often you would see the band directors looking at the big screen to see when students were walking in as they're playing Pomp and Circumstance, and then kind of looking backwards and then looking at the stage, trying to figure out when to stop, and they sounded great, and so just want to lift them up. And that concludes my board announcements.
All right. Well, let me bring this home so we can wrap up and get out of here quickly so you can watch the Canes game. Tease it. Tease it.
Thank you.
But also just want to say congratulations as well to all of the graduates. And Ms. Edmonds, you were reading my mind because I was thinking through all the staff that was, wrangling all of us, making bets to see who was going to arrive on time, either the superintendent or myself, or stressing them out to make sure we did make it there on time. So just thankful to all the behind the scenes that happens, and to the parents, because this was a journey for them as well. And so grateful for you all for putting your trust and faith into WCPSS, and looking forward to the great things that will come forth from our now productive members of society, is what we heard every principal share. But I will also say it was great to hear the themes from the principals as well. Kindness was something that I think every principal shared in their remarks. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do, but always remember to be kind. It does not cost a thing to be kind to folks, and how you are remembered is based on how kind you are. So it's a great reminder for me as well, when I am sleep deprived, to always make sure that I'm being kind. And also just, congratulating those principals who also graduated with their students. Elaine Hoffman from Apex High School, Dr. Decker from Panther Creek, and the others who are retiring as well. Thank you for your service and for your work to your students as well, and to the educators that are going to be retiring as well. So congratulations to all of those retirees, and we are grateful and honored for your work that you have done with the school system, and for the lives that you've impacted as students. I also just want to take a very moment to offer my condolences to the Cumberland County Board of Education as they experienced the loss of their board chair and long-term board members. So my thoughts and prayers are with the Cumberland County community, as well as Chairwoman Musgrave's family, as they are dealing with this huge loss. And so, and to our year-round families that are either tracking out or getting ready to track in, we hope that you all are, going to have a great school year to kick us off into the 50th celebration of the WCPSS Foundation of our merger. So those are all my comments, and if I did neglect something, please charge it to my head and not my heart. And I will say that this will be our last meeting until July 21st. So hopefully we can all get some much needed rest and unwind and recharge. And with that, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session for the items that are listed on the agenda. It's a motion by the vice chair. Is there a second? It's a second. It's been seconded by Board Member Caulfield. All those in favor, we will do a roll call vote, starting with you, Dr. Ing.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey.
Aye.
Board Member Edmonds.
Aye.
Dr. Jobe.
Aye.
Board Member Gordon.
Aye.
Board Member Caulfield.
Aye.
The chair also votes aye. We are now in closed session. Have a good evening, everyone.